Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Today I already advanced that this video will be quite different from the other videos I usually publish, basically because I did not script anything, but I do feel like I need to comment something and I should do it now because basically the recent news that just came yesterday, there was a report from Wolfpack stating lots of several different things about Ehang, which was a company that I basically made a video on just a couple of days ago, stating that I like the company, analyzing it in many different aspects, and also even stating that I had my position built in already in Ehang. It was not a very large position anyways, but this has changed. As I saw in the title, I sold out of my position, and yeah, partly basically it has been because of this report. This does not mean that I think that everything stated in this report is true, but I do feel like this is something that I need to share, and I also need to share my thoughts, my concerns, and the main reason I decided to sell out of my position. So with that said, and after I remind you that if you enjoyed this video, although probably it will not be like the other ones, it would help me out a lot if you could give it a like, especially because I'm filming this during the week. I'm working a full-time job and managing this with YouTube and uploading up-to-date content. It's very hard, so I would really appreciate that. With that said though, let's recap a bit and check what is it exactly that has happened. Ehang Holdings is basically a company that sells drones, or what they also call autonomous aerial vehicles that can also transport passengers. But everything was going well, there were good news surrounding the company, and then all of a sudden yesterday a report came out by Wolfpack Research stating a lot of not so good things about the company. The report basically was saying several things that I will be summarizing very briefly, because then I want to focus on my concerns and on expressing them, other than just focusing on every single thing that the report says. Because essentially, if you want to read the report, you can just look at it down below in the description. But basically, the report was saying four main things. Firstly, and the thing that worries me the most of all of it, is the fact that Ehang apparently partnered with another company called Kunqiang. I will leave the full name here below, and sorry for the pronunciation by the way, which apparently just made fake sales. So basically they bought vehicles from, autonomous aerial vehicles, more concretely the EH216 models, but what Wolfpack Research claims is that they just bought these vehicles not with the aim of using them or in any way, but just because this other company had a stake in Ehang, was one of the main shareholders, and they just wanted the share price of Ehang to go up. You know, they report better numbers, and then they all make a lot of money, not from buying these units of the autonomous aerial vehicles, but from the increase in share price. As I said before though, this is something that I will be going much more in depth just in a little while. Then the second topic that they mentioned was regarding their factories, stating that basically they had no security because they could just enter them, that the technology that they had inside these, or the production lines, were not really well set or what you would expect from world-class technology, that there were really very few models, and that it did not seem like they were very busy or really increasing that much sales or production in any way. And also they mentioned that the new factory that apparently should start production during this first half of the year 2021 was also pretty empty, and it did not look like they were doing nothing. So this was the second point. Then they also said in general that there were no people in the factories that they went to in general, and also they brought some testimonials stating that of important people apparently in the NASA and other institutions, stating that they do not think that these things are safe to fly, that it cannot be that such a small company compared to others such as Airbus or Boeing that have much more budget, have invested much more, or other companies as well, not just these ones, but who have invested much more than them, and instead Ehang is already flying these things around. So they were really putting that into doubt. And then going deeper in this thing, they were even saying in this report that the motors of the wings that they use, they are very low quality ones, and then they are not safe to fly, which again, I think that this is not really true. They have done, I think, more than 10,000 hours of flights, more than 4,000 trial flights. So, I mean, the CEO of the company has even flown with these things, and there are videos of that. So I do not think that this part, for instance, it's really true. But within all of these reports, that again, there are more things, feel free to check them out. There are several things that did concern me. My main worry, as I already said before, is regarding the sales and whether Ehang really inflated the sales artificially, and they are just trying to inflate these sales just to keep the stock price going up, but that they are not really true. And on that, there are some numbers that I do want to share with you now. In February of 2019, Quinchang, which is this company that we mentioned, basically agreed to pay 450 million yuan, which is the currency of China, which is equivalent to roughly right now at the moment of making this video of around 69 million US dollars for 3 EH216s, which are one of these models that can transport up to 2 people. And this basically is the equivalent to 150 million yuan for each unit. But the fun part comes now, because just 4 months later, after this first order on February, so in June 2019, they basically bought again from Ehang units. In this case, they bought 20 units and they paid in total 30 million yuan. They basically paid just 1.5 million for each unit, when before, just 4 months before, they had agreed to pay 150 million for each unit. So basically just 1% out of that price. Yes, they bought more, but I think that this is a bit of an exaggerated discount for a large purchase of these vehicles, also considering that they just purchased them with a 4 months difference, which basically means that not much could have changed. Then there are other things that, I mean, you can read through it all, but for me this really stood out, and also the fact that, according again to this research, this company of Quinchang that bought all of these vehicles was only founded 9 days before making the first order on February of 2019. So it really does seem like it was a company just created to inflate the sales of Ehang and to make it do well in the stock market. And this is something that I certainly don't like. Also then, if you go on the website of Quinchang, this other company, it really is not up to date. There are things, the more up to date news that you can find there are from 2019, which is almost like 2 years ago. And you can see that the website is not very well done in general. So it could very well be that this website is just there, you know, to kind of like have a fake profile. And leaving this part of sales, which is the one that worries me the most, then the rest of the report, of course, these are things that concern me, and that if they are really true, then it's of course bad and even worse. But they are also things, the things of the factories, of the potential, you know, engine like motors that are not really of high quality, or the testimonials or the security. These are things that they could very easily be made up. But this thing of the sales, it's something that, I mean, if you go and check the SEC filings, I went and checked them myself just to be sure, you know, that what was written in this report was true. But I mean, if you go there, you can really see that those filings are there, and that the numbers that I just shared with you now are there as well. But what I like even less than everything that I have been mentioning right now has been how Ehang has replied to such accusations. We have that yesterday they released a very short statement stating that those allegations were false, that they just displayed some information wrong, and that they would take all the necessary actions in order to protect them. A very, you know, short report, not saying anything, nor saying that they would give further explanation to the shareholders, just saying that they would take any necessary actions, you know, against that. Okay, I understand, maybe yesterday they did not have time, of course, they were not prepared for that, so that short text maybe was enough. But then today they released another press release in which basically it was kind of, or it is kind of an interview with the CEO, in which several questions are asked to him in regards to how the company operates, and also it covers some, but just some of the allegations stated in the report. And I must say that I did not like at all the answers, very general answers. Some of the questions are not even linked to what was said in the report, and to me this is a very bad sign. And I basically say that this is very bad sign because if I imagine myself and I think if I were to be the owner of Ehang, or if I just had my own business and such allegations had been made against me when I knew that I was doing everything correctly, that there's nothing wrong with my business, I would work so hard all night, I would not sleep in order to release a news release, maybe a report, going point by point in everything that, for instance, Wolfpack said about my company, and just stating there what the truth is, maybe even going at night to the factories, taking pictures of how they really look like, but none of this has happened. And when the stock price drops more than 60% of your company, and neither the CEO nor the company itself really defends it, as I think that they should defend their own company if this is really false, what this report is saying. And also when I see things in this report that really do not make sense and that really do not look good, then this is really not a company for me. If you have already been a follower of this channel for a while, and if you are new and you're still watching, then welcome. You know that I'm a long-term investor and I like to invest in companies that I think that will do great in the long term. But when reports like this come out, and with the whole situation, this certainly changes everything that I thought about this company, or that I thought I knew about this company. And as I said, I'm certainly not interested anymore in having or being invested in it. And finally, just before I end with the video, I just want to self-reflect on how crazy it is that just by releasing a report, just some pieces of paper with information, how much can it damage the stock price? How can it fluctuate so much just with some information? And it just proves you the power of information, but also at the same time how manipulative, or however that's called, we as a society are, because now this report has come out, maybe everything is false, but still the damage has already been done, and for instance they already don't have my trust. And it's crazy that just by doing something, I mean, I don't want to say this simple, of course there probably has been a lot of research, and if this is really true, then I'm sure that they have put lots of hours. But with something this simple, you can harm so much a company. Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. In any case, that was it for today. I just thought I had to give you kind of like my thoughts on the whole topic, my main concerns, and also kind of like explain you that I'm no longer invested in this company, because a couple of days ago I published a video saying that I was, but things changed drastically as we just discussed now, and I just felt like at least I had to give you a short update on the topic. If you enjoyed the video, then as always, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you are not yet subscribed, and as always, see you next time.